Did you use Pink Panther to start of the Other Hoof Christmas special, Michael?
Well done.
Yeah, why not?
Let's do this. Hello and welcome to the On the Other Hoof Christmas special of 2019. As you can see, we are all fully cooperating with the dress code this year. Usually, Callum Medell is a stick in the mud and goes for something like socks.
I wore a hat last year as well, so it's I'm a changed man.
In fairness, what we want is a happy medium. My hat's too big. Callum's hat is way too small. Michael Andrews' hat, perfecto.
Just right, just like Goldilocks and Three Bears. I'm obviously like Goldilocks, and you're the three. Oh, wrong way. You're the Three Bears.
And talking about bears, Adam Webb is also here as well. Your hat fits.
It does. It covers up the ball patch anyway. So
at least I had a shave for the show, but
yeah, I couldn't be bothered.
Welcome to the one and only show that On the Other Hoof seem to do every single year. Happy Christmas to you. Thank you very much for joining. A few important things to get out of the way first. We encourage alcoholic beverages on this show. That is a pink gin and lemonade. Callum Medell?
I've just gone for the standard Peroni. I think I did last year. I thought I'd push out the boat and pay that extra 50p for Peroni.
Hey, look, we appreciate it. We appreciate it. Michael?
So I asked my mum for something weird. So she's given me creme de menthe.
It's minty, right?
It tastes of cough syrup.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Is that a shot glass as well?
Yeah, it's quite a big. It's quite a big one. I'm not really sure about it. But I'll get to that. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we can have that as Maybe we can have Adam Bingo, and whenever we feel like Adam Bingo has been achieved, I'll shot the creme de menthe. Does that sound doable?
Great. So I'll take 10 minutes to preview a race, and then he'll just shot it.
Yeah, and I'll shot it only 3 minutes in, but the rest will be.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I was having a Corona, so was meant to be what would follow the creme de menthe, but actually it's been my way of getting through. Actually setting up this call because Luke couldn't do it, so I had to do it. So yeah, all good.
And, the king of soft drinks, Adam Webb. What have you got?
Well, I've got a soft drink, but there's some vodka in it. So Merry Christmas.
We'll call it a mixer. Now we have got 5 races to talk about: the 123 to the 305 at Kempton on Boxing Day, and the 220 at Wetherby, the Roland Merrick. All races will be live on ITV, one of their 65 channels that they have on Sky will be showing it. First of all, tradition is tradition. We do a Secret Santa each and every year. Everyone has received their Secret Santas in time. Who wants to go first?
I don't mind.
I thought we do the Secret Santa at the end.
Yeah, sometimes, but I want to do it first. Wait, show of hands. Who wants to do it at the end? Who wants to do it now?
I do it
now. Okay, fine. We'll do it at the end. We'll do it at the end. Adam, we'll still start with you because we're going to go to Kempton for the 120, their first race on ITV. It is the very aptly named Ladbrokes Where the Nation Plays Chase, a novices limited handicap. It looks open enough. I'm a little surprised to not see simply the bets at the head of the market with every single bookmaker.
I'd actually agree with that. He's gone the right way in 2 starts over fences. If there's something I need to add before we continue, there are comments flashing up here of people commenting on YouTube.
I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan.
The horrible thing is that somebody is maybe humorous. So if we are halfway through talking about a race and start laughing, it's not something completely random.
That might be the funniest thing Josh Pearson has ever done. It's not a high bar. It's not a high bar, but he's cleared it with ease.
But no, I agree with you on simply the bets. He's 2 from 2 over fences, and I feel the step up to 2.5 miles is going to bring out further improvement in him. He's proven on soft ground. I think it's going to be pretty testing on Boxing Day, and I felt he would be the one to beat. Roller Gain obviously comes in here under a penalty. He won at Ludlow 8 days ago. My one slight concern with him is his jumping, and in a better race, whether that might be found out, despite the fact that Nisha Williams is an unbelievable form. The main threat I see to simply the bets Behold the Note, who ran okay on his chase debut in a strange race at Ludlow. He has some decent form over hurdles. He's got the scope for improvement, and the yard tend to target this race with one of their better novices. They had Mr. Whittaker a couple of years ago who was second. They won it with Glenn Forza last year. So he's one that I'd be interested in as well, but I'd say Simply the Bets he should be favourite, and I'd see him winning this well.
Yeah, I think Simply the Bets might be popular on this panel. Michael Andrews, this could be fun. I agree.
Yeah. Don't really know in this race. It's not a race I'm massively interested in.
Michael, thank you for that. That's really good. That's really good punditry.
It's one of those that you're a bit like, it could go anyway. You don't really know. Probably not really worth parting massive amounts of cash with. But if you wish to shit it up the wall, you're very welcome to. So probably where I would go is Roll Again. I thought that run was just easy, just so easy at Ludlow. But I think the Ludlow form is probably where you're looking at between Roll Again, Hold the Note Connections obviously won it last year with Glenn Forza. But I know there's part of me wants to give Solomon Gray another chance. I think this really is his level. He's been way above it over the last couple. So actually back down in Gray to this kind of level. If he hadn't run and had been beaten so far in the last couple of races, would he be that price? Not sure. No. I think if he was coming in from the wins before, Solomon Gray would be favourite, if not second favourite, somewhere around that. So I think you can give Solomon Gray another chance as long as he doesn't go off like a scolded cat. So it would be Solomon Gray each way, probably Roll Again to roll in the winners for Venetia, who is currently 9 out of 15 with her latest runs.
Yeah, Venetia Williams is absolutely flying at the moment. As mentioned earlier, I am with Simply the Bets. That form from Chepstow a couple of outings ago is working out phenomenally well. The likes of Espoir de Guy has won 2 since, including a big handicap at Ascot. Bardo Forte and Cap Poli, they beat each other at Sutherland. Golden Whiskey was back in third. Has gone on to win once again since. The form is working out very, very well. Usually a race, Callum, though, that we almost get a Cheltenham candidate coming out of each and every single year. As Michael said, last year it was Glenn Forster who went for the Arkle.
Yeah, it's always a race, and there's always horses that end up being really well handicapped in this race and end up going up a fair bit in the weights. I like the fact that Mick Shannon and those connections seem to target this race quite a few times. I mean, like you've mentioned, the last 2 years, they won it last year. Mr. Whisker was second the year before. Knockhouse, I think, was second in it a few years ago as well. So for me, it's Hold the Note. I think he's clearly had a prep run with this in mind. And I just like the fact that he's clearly been a target. Well, I think it's been the target. I can understand Roll Again was a very impressive winner at Ludlow, but I agree with Adam and the jumping scale, really. He has looked a little bit tetchy at times over fences, and he's back down in trip on a more speedier track. But he's clearly thrown in. I mean, he's £6 well in, so he's got obvious claims, and I do think he deserves to be favourite just because of the yard form. But for me, it's Hold the Note.
Pearson's back.
The exact same quote.
Yeah, it's the same tweet. It's just funny. It's going to come up a few times throughout this show. The 155 at Kempton is the next that we're going to have a look at. That is the Ladbrokes Quarto Star at Novices Chase. Used to be at the Feltham. And Michael, if I were thinking of a track that would play to Slatehouse's strength, Kempton I don't think would be in the top 5.
No, Slatehouse he's a bit weird, isn't he? He's not really a horse I want to trust massively. You can forgive his fall. I think he has been a lot better this year, but to only beat that horse last time at Huntingdon by, what was it, half a length less than in the end, I thought it's not a horse I probably are really excited about in what is a really competitive field. And if you'd said Champ versus Slatehouse, I think there's quite a big disparity between class there. So that's why Black Op for me is a pretty obvious choice. I think that's probably going with proven form ahead of anything else, and maybe that's a bit too basic way of looking at it. But Master Tommy Tucker has got a lot to prove. Danny Whizbang obviously beat Reserve Tank, but Reserve Tank's it's been a bit hit and miss this year. I'm not 100% sure he's real top quality, but we'll see maybe in the spring. But yeah, so I think Black Op is a really, really good bet in this. I thought his jumping's improved. He only narrowly got beaten by Champ. Okay, Champ is a good horse, is a very, very good horse, and being beaten by Champ is no problem whatsoever. So yeah, Black Op for me 3-1. That's the start of my day's accumulator.
Black Op for Michael Andrews. Callum, who's Calvin Wade?
Calvin Wade. Oh yeah. Sorry, I don't know. Oh yeah, he's one of the Maidan Easters.
He's one of those lot.
Yeah.
You better tune in again next.
Wait for the nap of Christmas.
Adam, actually no, Callum, we'll go to you next for the Quarto Star Novices Chase. I think this is potentially a race that will work out well in the long run. But I don't know, I can kind of see an upset happening over at Kempton.
I don't know what you define an upset really. For me, I'm actually going to completely disagree with Michael. I'm going with Slate House for a few reasons really. I just like the fact that he's got plenty of experience on his back. I mean, he's had 13 starts, but he's still unexposed for me. He's always a horse I've really liked from an early kind of novice career. I thought that effort at Huntingdon could be sneakily actually okay. I mean, on the you look at it now and it looks a little bit disappointing beating a horse at odds on in Tarada all out, but he gave that horse £10. That horse is completely unexposed, could be anything. And it came after obviously quite a nasty fall at Cheltenham. Thought it was a really decent performance actually when you look at it. And yeah, I think he's gonna boast a lot of confidence from that and come here and be very hard to beat for me. Black Op, I'm still not convinced about 3 miles. He might just get it now that he's a little bit older, but I wasn't convinced by him over 3 miles over hurdles. He has jumped a lot better on both his starts over fences this year. And the Nichols pair could be anything, but I just don't like the fact they've had very little racing in a race that's often quite a tough test for novices. 3 miles are usually quite well run, and it is a race that has sometimes had a couple of shocks. But for me, Slate House, I just like the profile of him here. I think he's still unexposed, particularly over this sort of trip. And for me, he would definitely be the one.
Yeah, I do agree with you with Slate House. The fact that form from Huntingdon last time around, I think will work out very nicely. The horse back in second, Tarada, I really like. I think he runs on the 27th over the Christmas period and should take a little bit of beating as well. But Slate House hasn't really travelled that well in the early part of his races more recently. It's a trait that he's developed. He did it at Cheltenham. I can forgive that. It was a big field handicap. He was looking like he was potentially coming to win his race, at least finishing the first 3 in the Bet Victor. Then at Huntingdon, up in trip in a much weaker race, he did exactly the same. He didn't travel early on in the contest whatsoever. He got better the longer that the race went on. However, this is a far tougher race than that. You got the likes of Black Op, Master Tommy Tucker, who ran well here last time out when winning. His jumping eventually won on the day. I wonder if Master Tommy Tucker is going to be the horse who goes out in front. But is that the GOAT guy?
Maybe.
Have we uncovered the GOAT? Because the GOAT used to be obsessed with the curtains.
Is it real? Is it that his real name? There's actually his real name there, not used.
Jerry Doherty. I'm going to go for glory and go for a big price. I think the Mighty Don's overpriced in this. Yes, he's yet to win over fences, but his form isn't bad whatsoever. At Exeter, he was behind Esprit de Large, who went on to win the Henry VIII. Coulanley was back in second, who has disappointed since at Leicester, but that's more his jumping rather than anything. He still ran well enough with mistakes. And then, of course, at Ascot, he ran in the 4-runner race, and he was still there turning for home behind Angel's Breath, First Flow. Birchdale was there as well. That was over a trip completely inadequate for the Mighty Don. It wouldn't surprise me one bit, Adam, when Nick Gifford's charged to run a much bigger race than the price suggests. The annoying thing is we don't have one more runner.
It'd probably been a decent each-way bet. His form over hurdles and stack up against most of these ahead of the market. Black Op, this jury's still out for me regarding his jumping. Yes, it has improved, but I felt late on at Newbury, under pressure, his jumping suffered. And that, again, going back up in trip to 3 miles, I think that is going to potentially find him out. Slate House, he needs to travel early on in this race because they're going to go a good gallop. And as we saw in this race last year with Santini, he didn't travel early on. He got himself into trouble. That's just a little worry I got with Slate House. I actually really like Master Tommy Tucker here, and I was really taken with his win at Kempton over a trip that I thought would be short enough for him to show plenty of pace that day. He looks a real stayer as well, and I could potentially see him grinding these into the ground. He's just a resolute galloper who I think will keep going. I really, really like this horse. I think he could take quite a bit of beating in this.
Yeah, the Corto Star is a modelling race, I think we'll say this year, but we move on to the 2:30 at Kempton. The 2:10 time-wise at Wetherby is the next one, but we will talk about Wetherby after Kempton. The 2:30 is the Ladbroke Christmas hurdler, grade 1 over 2 miles, which last year, Callum, saw one of the bigger shocks, we'll say, of the National Hunt season in Verdana Blue Law in the colours of Bouvedere.
Yeah, it was a fair shot, wasn't it? Obviously, she's back in the field again, having been bought recently at the sales. I mean, it's the ground, obviously, for her. It's probably not going to be ideal. If it does dry out, you can certainly not see that the price at the moment of, say, 5-1 lasting, and she'd certainly be an each way bet at that sort of price. I mean, I think it's a pretty weak race unless one of the Henderson pair step up. Really, the kind of unexposed pair of Fuse Raffles and Epatante. Is it Epatante or Epatante?
Yeah, Epatante.
I mean, for me, I just kind of narrowly prefer Epatante. I thought that was a nice performance last time in the Jerry Field, and obviously she's going from winning that off a mark of 137 to a grade 1. But I don't think, I think 150 probably wins this, to be honest, because you've got horses that are that sort of rating based on handicaps, and they're fully exposed at that sort of level. Your Silver Streaks and Getaway Trumps are rated to their prime already, but they're probably horses that are going to be there or thereabouts unless one of the two Henderson pair do step up of Epatante or Fuse Raffles or Verdana Blue, who certainly, if she runs to what she did last year, if the ground's okay for her, probably will win. But for me, yeah, I'd just go for Epatante. It's not really a race I want to get involved in because there's so many unknowns for me. It feels like a race you should get involved in just because there's a nice kind of complexion to it with your three places, and there's a few horses you can kind of rule out relatively easily, and you make probably some good each way value in there, but I don't know the form well enough to gauge a strong value of which horse I should be on. So for me, I'd just maybe chance Epatante to step up and kind of build on the initial promise that she'd shown.
Yeah, I completely get what you're saying about the entire race. Personally, my thinking was if Verdana Blue ran to within 5 lengths of the form last year, then she'd probably win this. Fuse Raffles, I've not been overly convinced about. Even with saying that, if Verdana Blue runs within 5 lengths of what she did last year, yes, she's not had a run. She had plenty of runs last season. The ground, I think it'll be okay, to be honest. I don't think it'll be bottomless at Kempton. She's 4-1 as we speak. For me, Adam, I would be quite happy taking that 4-1 and chancing just how fit Verdana Blue is, because I kind of think that this might be her Gold Cup this season.
Potentially. I mean, they have bought her, though, to go back on the flat as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was reading that they were talking about going back on the flat to try and win some listed and group races with her, or be competitive in them anyway. On the form from last year, I mean, her Scottish Champion hurdle win was sensational, and if she brings that to the table, I think she would be the one to beat. But I do have that slight reservation about the ground for her. The other Henderson pair, Epatante, what I liked about her at Newbury was that she showed some substance to her, rather than style that she showed in novice hurdle wins at Kempton and Exeter. She went clear off the bridle and looked really impressive in doing so. But there's something about Fuse Raffles. I mean, he went to Wincanton. Obviously, he's beaten Grand Sancy, who's become a fair yardstick. He runs in all these good graded races and over hurdles and fences now. But you just got the impression that there was plenty to work with. And this kind of race, I think, will really suit him. Obviously, he won the Adonis here last season. He was really impressive in doing so. When he went to Punchestown off the back of a bad preparation, was able to beat Fakir Dudaree there. If there's a potential star in the field, I feel as though it could be him. And if you fancy him for the champion hurdle, you want to be taking the price now before he runs, because if he goes and wins impressively, he will then be stamping himself as probably the leading UK contender for this. If there's one at a price that I think's half interesting, I probably won't have a few quid on, but I thought Quick Grabbing might be worth noting. First run for Fergal O'Brien. He showed plenty of ability for Willie Mullins, and what on earth is it?
This is Pete Farries, who is a dear friend of mine. A dear friend of mine.
Wow.
Pete knows his horse racing inside out. He could name at least 5 horses. Lost in Translation is one of them. And he was all over Lost in Translation in the Betfair Chase, as he would tell you. Yeah, sure, Care Home. That's where I spend my Christmas, Pete. But thank you for watching. Adam, did we get a selection?
Yeah, Fuse Raffles. Very, very boring, very unoriginal.
Michael, not quite the rich history of J. Pitt Manor horses in this race, the likes of My Tent or Yours. But this year, I think My Tent or Yours would have a chance if he's still running it.
My Tent or Yours would lap these.
And then he'd stop in front and let them past.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand 4-1 on Verdana Blue. You having a laugh? Like, she should be 2-1 minimum, maximum. Sorry, like, it doesn't make sense. None of these horses have really proved themselves to be at the level she's at by any stretch of the imagination. Don't get it at all. Do not get, like, I think Verdana Blue is your Christmas money. Like, why is she that big? The only thing that question is the lack of race fitness. But I think from what Adam alluded to, I think it was Adam alluded to, the fact that, you know, they were debating over running her on the flat. I think they've been really thinking and overthinking this, and Nikki Henderson knows how to keep them very, very ripe. I don't think we should really worry about that. And she has won off a layoff before, admittedly not in a Grade 1, but is this a Grade 1? Not as competitive as last year, I'd say. I think Bouvier was pretty good last year, in fairness. I know there's a few question marks since, but I thought he was pretty good. And this is really her kind of race. I like Fuser Raffles. I think he'll grow up to be a nice horse. But, you know, the rest of them, there's a lot of questions marks. So Verdana Blue, add that to your Christmas Trixie with whatever horse I tipped in the previous race, and we'll come back to the third horse in the next.
I mean, are you just going away from the On the Other Hoof Lucky 15 at the end of the show?
Yeah, I don't know. Just sort of.
Just like I don't want to work with you guys.
4-1 for Verdana Blue is a silly price. It's as silly as the Scottish champion hurdle price when it was like 6-1 or something on the day. It's as silly as that.
On fast ground. Oh dear.
Christmas hurdle, a Grade 1 in name only this season, but we hope that we do get a champion hurdle contender out of it, be it Fuser Raffles, be it Verdana Blue, maybe even Epatante if we see something relatively impressive. A race that we've talked about on this show actually as being disappointing in the last few years, when we had the likes of Thistlecrack against Q Card and it was a smaller field. This year, Michael, is very much not disappointing. Yes, there's no Altior running in the King George. However, we've got Surname that lost in translation last year's winner, Clander Zobo, is third in the market. Footpad's trying out 3 miles. Thistlecrack is back once again. This is an absolute cracker.
Yeah, I must just go back to Pete Farris here. Sorry to interrupt Adam on the previous one, but must just go back to Pete because he's actually asked you a question there, Luke. Can you confirm that you finally come round to the horse about Lost in Translation? Is that something you can confirm?
Yeah, I've always liked Lost in Translation. I just you know, taking on Bristol de Mai last time. Bristol de Mai at Haydock usually runs to about 220. It wasn't.
I'd have agreed with you. So
I big fan of Lost in Translation. I just didn't think last time was his time, but I do think he'll take all the beating this year, Michael.
Yeah, so I've doing Adam Webb for this race because there's only 6 runners. It doesn't take me very long. I don't know. It's interesting the way things have gone in recent years. You look back to the Betfair Chase, obviously this year especially, but you know the field sizes have been getting smaller and smaller, but they've pretty much had all the runners you've wanted in them. Obviously, we won't mention Altior, will we, Luke?
Shut up! Shut up! What's the point? What's the point? Why is he not running in this race?
He's not fit today. He's not fit for Christmas.
He just needs one more sleep. One more sleep. That's all he needs.
He does exactly.
Can we take this race and put it on the 27th? Would that make a difference?
No.
He galloped phenomenally the other day. Not phenomenally enough to get into the King George. Just come out and say I don't want to run him over 3 miles. I don't get it.
But they're taking him out the race by that point. So once they take him out the race and then he gallops, he's working really well again.
That's an absolute load of bollocks, isn't it? I mean, even if he's galloping phenomenally, go to Ireland. There's a Grade 1 of a 2-mile 1. Take on Chacun Poursoir, take on Underso, take on Silas Emery if he's going to run. Take on proper Grade 1 horses.
Yeah, John Season.
It's just, it's so frustrating.
Would not happen at Goodwood. Would not happen at Goodwood. All good worth. We've got some pretty intense competitions there actually. So I just don't want to back Surname. I really want him to win. Be awesome if he does. I just think, there's a few more question marks over him, but the one that's rock solid and no matter what happens in the race, can't see a problem is Lost in Translation. I think that horse is the selection of the race. Not a horse I've ever been that taken by, actually. But I just, I love the way Robbie Power rides at the moment. He is just on such a high with so many horses he's riding, which is incredible. Maybe that's why Slatehouse was slightly unimpressive last time. I don't know. I'd love Thistlecrack to win. There's so many angles here, which is really, really cool. But I just worry about Surname away from Ascot. This is the first time we're really going to have to push it away from Ascot. That's interesting. And at that price, I'd rather take the slightly bigger price on Lost in Translation. But this is a very good King George. I just wish, even though they say like Footpad's the lowest rated, and that's incredible for a race like this, I do like the stories, and I do like a bigger field just because it looks better on screen. It's a nicer thing to watch. So that's what I'd say for me. But I do think Lost in Translation, any way they run this, it will somehow suit him. And I think that's not the case for a few others.
Michael, we have got a comment in from Jamie Hernandez saying, lads, my missus is 6-1 each way. Surname for the King George. I have 8-1 each way. Envoy LN for the Ballymore. Who has the better bet? Jamie.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'm going to go Surname. Because the race is in.
I don't think that's Surname. I mean, you've got a horse that's basically 6-4 and running in 2 days' time
100%.
against a horse that might well be that sort of price running in 3 months. And I'm not saying that Envoy Alan's gonna at the end Envoy Alan could win and Surname could get beat. I think it's more likely that Envoy Alan probably does win at the festival, but just now you're basing, anything could happen to Envoy Alan in 3 months, and it's very unlikely that Surname's not going to be running a big race in the King George. So for me, your missus has got you there, Jamie. Sorry.
I think Envoy Alan's got. I fancy Envoy Alan to win more, but obviously the race for Surname is in 2 days. You've got so much water to go under the bridge with Envoy Alan that, as regards of who's having the better bet, I would 100% be with the Surname bet, Adam.
I'd agree with that as well. You've got a definite runner for starters.
100%.
Unless something goes catastrophically wrong in the next 2 days, which I highly doubt, but stranger things have happened.
Adam, while we're with you, what are your thoughts on the Ladbrokes King George?
It's a fascinating renewal. Surname has looked exceptional. His last 3 starts all at Ascot. Now, he does have form away from Ascot. Obviously, his novice form at Sandown and Kempton. The key to him is going right-handed. I remember backing him in a Newbury Novices Handicap Chase, and he jumped right the whole way round, and it was painful to watch. He's won at this meeting before he won the Wayward Lad 2 years ago. He also won the Pendle, so the course isn't an issue. It's just you're questioning whether he can translate what he has achieved at Ascot here at Kempton and up in trip at 3 miles as well. Will he be able to see it out? And that's where I have a slight reservation, especially at 11-8. And that's why I think Lost in Translation is absolutely rock solid. He, for all of last season, was running over 2.5 miles, and you just felt as soon as he tackled 3 miles, he was going to improve, which he did at Aintree. And then he gone and beaten Bristol de Mai in his own backyard at Haydock. And that is something that you cannot underestimate. When you have horses for courses that will run to a level that could be up to 10, even a stone better, and you can beat them. And I just see him winning this. And the bonus is still alive then. He goes and wins on Boxing Day, and then you've got the £1 million bonus for the Gold Cup, and it'll be the first horse in years that you're going there thinking this has got a realistic chance of happening. Clan de Zobo, I think, has got to improve on what he achieved last year. I've never really been a fan of him. I mean, he improved considerably last season. Go on, Michael, you shot that. Go on, down it goes. I'm gonna keep talking. I'm gonna keep talking here because I want to see that shot go down. So it was a good comeback behind Road to Respect, which then leads me to the question: why isn't Road to Respect running here? I thought the King George would have been the kind of race that would really suit him. I know he won the Savills Chase 2 years ago, but I've long.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I feel that King George would be fine for him.
King George, I think there's a lot of emphasis on jumping, which if he hits 1, he hits 10.
Yeah. He's got a hell of a amount of ability, though.
Oh, massively. I mean, for what it's worth, I think he wins the Savills Chase anyway, but I don't know. The weirdest part of that is that I don't know. I'm pretty sure Adam is trying to get Michael drunk.
Yes, I am. Right.
You trying to seduce me?
No. It's just that when it comes to opening your Secret Santa presents, you might need a few drinks. Footpad, I'm not convinced about 3 miles, and I know he was impressive at Turles when he beat Marla Beach, but he beat Marla Beach, and that is something that Marla Beach will get lapped in the King George, and I think he's got to improve plenty. Thistle Crack, why didn't they run him on Saturday? He'd have probably won the March Hurdle had they gone for it.
Yeah, hindsight is a very easy thing, though. Hindsight is very easy. I mean, he wouldn't have beaten Paisley Park if they had known Paisley Park wasn't going to run. They probably would have run.
Maybe, but there's still. He'd have finished. He'd have finished for me second, and I think he'd have had more chance there than he would here. I think.
I'll be honest. I still think there's unfinished business there. I think Thistlecrack could beat Paisley Park one day. That wouldn't. Ooh. I think there's one time with certain special circumstances where that's not out of the question. So I actually do think that probably was a missed error, because I think he would have still put it up to him if both of them had run.
Yeah, fair enough. And ASO, he's got a bit to find, but you never know. Venetians are in flying form at the minute. Hey, there it goes. Lost in translation of selection.
Lost in translation for our resident scouts. I'm with Lost in I'm with Lost in Translation as well. I love him. I think he's a really, really nice horse. I almost think that the Gold Cup might be the race of the three that suits him most. I hope they ride him a little differently to Haydock last time around. Obviously, last time at Haydock, they only really had one horse to aim at in the form of Bristol Demai. This time around, it's going to be very different. You've got Clanders Oboe in the race. You've got Surname, Footpad and Thistlecrack. Yes, we don't expect them to win, but we expect them to run well enough. I just think Lost in Translation is the complete package. It seems that year in, year out now, we're almost getting Colin Tizard horse that we're getting excited about for the £1 million bonus. I don't think Q-Card ever really had a chance of winning the £1 million bonus. I don't think it was a Gold Cup horse, but I 100% buy into Lost in Translation being a Gold Cup horse. The one thing I'll say about Surname as well, yes, he was impressive at Ascot. Yes, he beat Altior, but he was well tuned up for that run. How much improvement there is going to be to come, I'm not 100% sure. Whether he will need to improve, I don't know as well, because at the end of the day, he still did give a good beating to Altior. He has run, obviously, at Kempton before. That was in the Pendle. He had a huge scare at the final fence in the back straight when he took off about 3 strides too early and landed on it. But I think Sean Bowen accepted blame for that and said it was down to him. Look, I don't think Kempton's going to be any sort of problem for Surname whatsoever. It hasn't been in the past. I don't think it will be here, but I think he might get beaten by Lost in Translation. Whatever happens, Callum, I can't wait for this. This is going to be awesome to watch.
Yeah, so prospect of a race really, and did Michael go Lost in Translation as well?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to make it clean sweep then. I've come around to Lost in Translation just for a few reasons really. Just keep looking at his form, and everything just looks so rock solid with the horse. He's versatile. He can be placed anywhere in a race. He jumps great. He travels great. I think that's the other thing as well, is that round Kempton over 3 miles, I think he's going to have absolutely no bother at all pace-wise, and his jumping will hold. For me, will hold up. Last year he was mixing it with Defi DeSoy, who looks a real top-class horse now, and is really progressing well. I like that Aintree run as well behind when beating Top of the Game, who I thought was going to win that day. I thought it was a really good performance, beating Bristol Demai last time at Haydock. So really, he's got the class. He's got everything really, I think, to win. And now you're looking at 2-1 on a horse rather than 6-4 on Surname, who has the trip to prove. Kempton, I think, should be no bother. I mean, he's 2 from 2 at the track. He was quite impressive here.
Who is it, Michael? Michael, who is it? Michael, who is it?
It's my uncle. I don't know why he's in here.
Uncle, come on, be on the other hoof. Come on.
He's actually a big racing fan, in fairness. What's your tip for Boxing Day?
Boxing Day.
Yeah, the next racing day.
Golden Wolf. At Wolverhampton.
We heard at Wolverhampton.
Wow. You can leave now. You can get out.
Big race.
It's King George Day. Lost in Translation. You're a fan.
Cracking car Wolves.
Yeah, all good on Lost in Translation.
5 from 5. Well done, Uncle.
He was in for the sellotape. Got some last-minute presents to wrap.
Callum, apologies for that interruption from Michael.
That's fine. I'll be interrupted by royalty. That's fine. Surname. It was a nice performance last time. He's clearly a classy horse. My only concern about taking on Surname is I just don't quite see who's going to be taking him on early in the race. I don't really see who really wants to front run in this with him. And that, for me, if Robbie Power's got any sense, I think he needs to be pretty close to Surname. have him a little bit closer to what he did at Haydock, like you kind of alluded to. He's a horse that has made the running before. I don't think he really wants to, but he's just versatile in any way. He can be ridden in any way. And if he's going to be a little bit too far back against a speedy horse like Surname, that's the only way I can see Surname beating him. Before the race, I really thought Surname, after Ascot, I was like, no horse is beating this thing in the King George. But I think you've just got to be on Lost in Translation at the price as well. 2-1, I think, is a great bet, given, they're both classy horses, but given you've got a lot less to prove still with Lost in Translation for me, he has to be the bet against Surname. Kind of touch on the others. I'm pretty against Clan des Obeaux. I really can't see him following up from last year. I just don't get any vibe from him at all. I think Thistle Crack will be a shock winner. 11 turning 12. Footpad, I agree with the trip, might be a little bit worried. He was a little bit keen on his first start back, and he's quite a speedy horse. But if there is a horse that's going to step up, I think out of the rest it would be Footpad. But for me, Lost in Translation wins this, and I think he becomes the leading player for the Gold Cup in March as well.
Yeah, I think that could well be the case with Lost in Translation. Merry Christmas all, says Chris Smith. Luke, any grey number 5s tomorrow? No, it's Christmas Day tomorrow.
Well, there might be in France.
I don't know. I haven't seen any grey number 5s. I don't know if that's Chris Smith, my friend from school, but either way, happy Christmas to you, Chris. And Matt Wynn, can we get Blogsy and a Stallion on this next year? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And our good friends that Get Your Tips Out say Merry Christmas, lads. I called San Miguel whilst watching, but only allowed the one, as off the hospital soon for baby number 2. Congratulations, Get Your Tips Out. I'm going to guess Joe.
Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus.
Jesus. There's a few. You've got a few ideas for baby names, I imagine. Jesus, or if it's a girl, Jaza.
Jasmine.
Jamiroquai.
Let's go for the Royal Merrick, shall we? Whether be upcoming. I hope that all goes well. In all seriousness, though, the lads from Get Your Tips Out, thanks for your support once again. The Roland Merrick is an interesting race this year, Michael. It's probably more wide open than we've seen in recent years. Do you want me to fill a little bit while you get the race up? Topville Ben currently is towards the head of the market at 3-1. Benny's King at 9-2, 6-1 for Johnny Sofa. Lakeview Lad at 13-2. Rocco at 7-1. Of course, Rocco was the horse who was lame, leading to the accidental withdrawal of Nigel Swinton Davis's horse in the Caspian Caviar Gold Cup that won at Ascot. And Adam, I've completely forgotten the name of that horse.
Riders on
the Storm. Riders on the Storm. I got there eventually. Michael.
Yeah. Thank you, Luke. This race is not really great. It's not really a betting race for me this year. It's all a bit here, there, everywhere. The horse that stands out for me is one that's been around the block quite a bit, but somehow is only 9 years old, which really surprises me, which is Guitar Pete. Won here only 2 starts ago. This horse has got a lot of class, and I don't really think you can say that's fair of a few of the others. They've always been slightly short of class. And Topville Ben, who I backed last time, broke my heart at Newcastle when he managed to die in the final 15 yards or so, which was really upsetting.
Not actually die, but he is okay.
Still alive, yeah.
Otherwise, bad tip.
Back from the dead to run in the race that I get confused with I always think this race is called the Kirkland Telluride. I don't know why, but I always,
what?
Yeah. I always say that.
Sorry, what?
I always get confused between Kirkland Telluride and the Roland Merrick because both of them aren't real names, but they somehow remind me of each other. So I think that the Haydock Clark of the course is occasionally Roland Merrick. That's who I actually think runs Haydock. That's just an insight into Michael's mind. But yeah, Guitar Pete's one for me. But I'm going to take my time to talk again about Vidana Blue and how good she is in that Christmas hurdle. She's had 4 starts at Kempton, 2 on the all-weather and 2 over jumps. She's won both of the ones over jumps, and she's been second twice on the all-weather at Kempton. So she likes the track too. So just put all your money on Vidana Blue. Don't care about this race.
I get the feeling that's the Christmas snap for Michael.
Yeah, thank you, Michael, for that in-depth Roland Merrick preview.
I'm also getting a bit wobbly after that. Everything's gone. My heart's going quite fast now.
I bet your breath smells great, though. Callum Medell, I know you're looking forward to the Roland Merrick.
Oh, buzzing for this one, lads. This is the highlight of the Christmas period. I'm going to go with last year's winner, Lakeview Lad. I thought he's a horse that he ran really well at Cheltenham after that run, after 3 months off. I always think it's a really, really good effort from a horse to run so well if they haven't had a run after Christmas at the festival. So I was really taken by that effort. It didn't go right for him in the Grand National, but he went off pretty short. I actually quietly fancied him for the race. I think he is a horse that still has the opportunity to really progress when he gets in those marathon races. Thought he was a nice enough return at Newcastle in the rehearsal. Thought he just really shaped like he needed the run. He is off top weight here for £8 higher mark than what he won last year. But I just don't see him out the 3. Again, it's a race that has a nice complexion to it with the 10 runners, 3 places, and he looks a good each way price at more than evens to place. I think that makes a lot of appeal to me. So I think you'll benefit plenty from that first run, like I said, and be bang in there really. So for me, it's Lakeview Lad.
Lakeview Lad for Callum. I'm sticking with the each way vibe as well. Didero Vallis is the way I'm going. In the Roland Merrick, I thought he ran really well at the National Fences entry last time around in the Grand Theft. And obviously things didn't go right when he pulled up. Obviously, he just needed to run quite badly on his reappearance, I think, at Ascot. Ran very well in the plate at Cheltenham last year. This trip should be no kind of issue for him. And Lucy Turner takes a further £7 off. He's going to be carrying absolutely no weight whatsoever. 10 stone 3 less than 7. I think Didero Vallis could run a massive race in this. He's currently a 10-1 chance. And as we were talking earlier, as Michael alluded to so eloquently, Venetia Williams is in absolutely flying form at the moment. So for me, Didero Vallis. For Adam.
I quite like Rocco.
Wait, Michael, did you blow a kiss then?
Just to Adam, only Adam.
Oh,
And Sean.
Yeah.
It's a yearly thing that you always blow a kiss to Sean. So it's.
Is that actually a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean has to spot it.
Callum, you didn't know about this.
I wasn't aware of this.
I wasn't aware of this either.
I've known about this for a few years now.
How long's it been going on for?
For a while.
I mean,
Well,
if he doesn't spot it this year, then he'll never spot it. Adam, back to you.
I quite like the chances of Rocco, who unfortunately forced riders on the storm out of the Caspian Caviar Gold Cup. The angle with him is that he's unexposed over staying distances, and he's with a trainer who is an absolute genius with stayers. His form last time out at Leicester behind Pistol Whipped, I think, is a race that will work out rather well. And he is shaped on his last few starts as though the step up to 3 miles plus is going to really suit him. And it's only his 5th run of offences, so I'd be quite keen on him. I like Michael Schatt on Guitar Pete. I think 3 miles will actually suit him. He's been running well in these 2.5 mile handicaps, and it's been shaping as though nowadays he would prefer going up in trips. So I wouldn't be shocked to see him go really well.
And Callum, aren't you really happy to see a Dark Angel going over 3 miles?
I didn't notice that.
Exciting prospect.
I think Alan King over the festive period has got a Zebedee going over obstacles. There's not too many of those.
Let's have it.
That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. Chris Smith has come back in to confirm that he's not my friend from school. Nonetheless, he is still my friend. Thank you for watching, Chris. Saying he meant Boxing Day, not tomorrow. I don't know. You can't go looking for grey number 5s, Chris. The rule is you have to stumble upon them. But that is our look.
Like on our weekend.
Exactly. Arab horses.
When in the Arab race, the grey number 5 walk past us and Sean goes, "We have to back it." So
yeah, and Callum did not listen.
I didn't.
That's the racing covered. Secret Santa time. Secret Santa time. Gentlemen, who's going first? Adam, go on.
Go on then. Right. So
while Adam is doing this, by the way, the yearly question is: if you had any of us for Secret Santa, what would you get us? A shower is not an applicable answer for Adam.
Oh fuck.
Adam's first swear of the year.
I've sworn in other places. I remember when I was a stickler for not swearing, and I was the first member of On the Other Hoof to swear live on the show. But fortunately,
that was the Melbourne Cup preview.
Fortunately, you couldn't hear it, which is fantastic. Right, so I've got these. It's addressed to Amma Abdulaziz. I'm guessing Callum sent me this.
I don't think it was Callum.
When I saw this, it was amazing.
So did Michael.
Oh, what on earth are these?
Wow.
These are interesting. Hang on.
I like how Callum was sitting there. That's not me. I'm funnier than that.
No, it was me.
Oh,
I'm watching that. Oh, lovely! I like these. This is actually something nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Socks.
actually,
What's
tell us what it is.
Yeah, I can't see. You keep moving it too
A
fast.
pair of socks. I'm watching the racing. Do not disturb. So I will wear them.
You
Thank
sit on the sofa and then you show your socks that says do not disturb. I'm watching the race.
Sorry, you give him boobs every year, and you're just giving him something actually useful.
Yeah, it's funny.
Thank you.
That's that's the joke. Also, I had spare change, so I basically put a bet on for Adam. I told him, I
Oh.
messaged the other day, I was like,
You did.
what horse did you fancy anti-post? And I said that I wanted to put a lucky 15 in, and I basically wanted some horses that he fancied. So £3 change from the socks has gone to a bet.
Yay! Thank you very much. And it also includes Le Broil for the Grand National. Oh,
Yeah.
can't wait for that.
Callum, since you got Adam his present, you can open yours now.
Right, well, mine is addressed to Dominatrix Liddell, which makes me think it was Michael. It's you. Well, I am shook.
I was really hoping that your lovely mother would answer the door, and there would be someone in Lavenham that thinks she's in Dominatrix.
It's like, you got a parcel for Dominatrix Liddell, and I was like, oh right, yeah.
I just wanted someone in Lavenham to think that your mum might be a dominatrix.
Oh my god.
My hunch was it was a scar, but it's not.
Matt Wayner said he'd get Luca Hoover. Oh, that's nice.
I do need it. I do need a new one, to be fair.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's very good. Very good.
So for years now, Callum has abused my socks, and he says that they're far too jazzy. So Callum has got his very own jazzy socks.
There's a big sock theme that I think I've missed here.
May I also say as well that when we do our Secret Santa, there's a wish list that you put on there. Callum actually took the wish list seriously and put beer on there, and I instantly, I'm not getting you beer.
Did I actually?
Yeah, there was some Moretti on there. I said, no, not a chance. You're getting jazzy socks.
Matt Wayner's also said, say hi to Susan.
Who's Susan? Who's Susan?
Who's Susan? Yeah.
Is that just what he calls Tui because it's too difficult a name to pronounce?
No, it's his mum.
It's Everall.
Her name's not the Susan.
What? Michael, are you joking?
Michael, you're an idiot.
Her name's Ev.
You were there, weren't you?
There.
Oh no, just creme de menthe.
Right. I got Luke's Secret Soccer Elder, which, I mean, it was a short price to be Michael.
I wanted to put Secret Slut, but I thought that wasn't allowed.
Yeah, I went for Dominatrix, so go for whatever. Like,
yeah.
It's a big box, and I don't think there's any. It's something sexual. I've just seen something. I've just seen like something inside the box. For the love of God.
It's better than socks. The first two have been socks.
Hey, I take socks compared to what I thought I was going to get last year. What on earth is
It is a sexy male torso.
With penis.
Oh.
Avec penis. So
can you put it on?
If I put it on, do I have to cover up the fake phallus?
Yeah,
No.
you will have to.
We'll just blur it out in the edit.
The problem is we're going out live.
This is better than
Oh, wow.
Please go downstairs and record showing your mum and dad. Please. The world needs to see this.
Michael, that's fucking disgraceful.
It's a family story.
Like, it's a proper, like...
We need to see it.
Oh my God. This is the worst
Ladies
game
and gentlemen, Michael Andrews.
This is the... No.
Oh, you've never looked better, Luke.
I can't look.
Oh my God. That is absolutely horrific.
Oh my God. That's brutal.
I think that is the worst present anyone has ever got on this show.
I couldn't not. I saw it and I was like, nothing says Luke more than this.
Oh my god.
He's groping it.
Oh my god. Michael,
I
open
can't
yours.
believe it.
Right, shall I open what is probably some more boobs? So it's
Open. I got you two. So open
I've got
whichever
two. One of which I hope is nice because I have had boobs for the last 3 years or something.
one.
Oh, great! More boobs.
It's actually.
Oh, it's another pair of juggling boobs.
Yeah.
Stress boobs. So when
Yeah,
you're feeling
that's what I
stressed
got.
and
Well, it says juggling on them, so
it should be stress.
All right, yeah, I could get juggling tonight.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure Callum got me the
I
same.
think I got the exact same set.
I will be partaking in the most popular thing recently called re-gifting. So that will go tomorrow.
Why do you give it your brother? I'm sure he'd appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got plenty of boobs. Doesn't need them. Not for them. And then I've got another one, which is from Moonpig, which I can only hope is slightly more satisfactory.
I mean, we usually get a mug every single year. Someone
Yeah,
gets a mug.
I haven't got a mug, so I've never had a mug. I've gifted a lot of mugs, but I've never had one. Aha! And now that has changed. Ah, it's the boyo.
There we go.
Definitely.
Another
over
Nicky Henderson hurdler.
It says Mikey on it as well.
Yeah, I quite like that. Good gift, that.
You ruined it.
Every year someone gets a mug, and Callum's sat in the corner going, "Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, that's good. That's a good gift."
Yeah, mugs are good. My one from Michael broke, so
Oh, and it's got
mugs.
it's actually got
teabag in it.
It's got a tea in it.
Yeah, you get a tea bag with it.
It was either my tent or yours of blowing wind, but the picture of blowing wind wasn't good enough, so I went with Tenty.
Tenty, he's good. I think that is. It looks like Aintree to me as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, when he won the top novices hurdle.
Grand. Thank you very much.
Very welcome.
That is Secret Santa done with. Some more mortifying than others, but thank you for watching the Secret Santa. We have got a couple of questions in. The first of them is from Matt Wynn, who says, "Merry Christmas, lads. Great to see you at various times this year."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came to Aintree. For the Grand National, and he absolutely loved it.
Get Luke away from the eggnog, the absolute wrong un. What's wrong with eggnog?
I've
Or is it
never
just
had
me?
it.
Never
Does it
had
have
it.
eggs?
It's a bit wrong.
Yeah, it's all right. My gift to you is Colonel Custard in the Akabusti handicap hurdle to round off the card at Kempton. Best of luck with that. And Jason Harris has also tweeted and said, "Will you guys make a Fakir Duderi against Lorena on decent ground of 2 miles? I wouldn't be surprised if Fakir's jumping gets him home as much. I think Lorena will be a top-class chaser in time."
Yeah, agree.
Yes, fully agree with that.
Yeah, 100%.
He's jumping at Fairy House is exceptional.
Callum hasn't done the form,
Brilliant.
so he's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, Callum's like, "Yeah, I've heard of that horse." Also, one for Rosie and handicap hurdle at Newbury is the nap of the festive period. 145 still a very workable mark, and Nigel Twiston Davis very rarely leaves much to work on first time around. Love you guys. Merry Christmas and 6 kisses. Thank you very much, Jason Herridge.
What a nice man.
Have I missed out any questions? I usually do.
Not that I'm aware.
I think I have. Right, let's go to naps of the festive period. Michael Andrews. Oh my goodness, what is your nap of the festive period going to be?
Well, it's going to be from Wolverhampton. No, Verdana Blue, obviously. 4-1, big price. Take advantage. Do not bother betting in any of the other races if you don't back Verdana Blue.
Verdana Blue for Michael Andrews. This will be an On the Other Hoof Lucky 15, of course. Adam Webb.
Fakir Duderi.
Fakir Duderi.
Really like him. I actually think he will take a length or 2 out of Lorena at each fence if she jumps the way she did at Goran.
Fair enough.
And that could be very hard to peg back.
I'm going to side in a lesser race and get it all out of the way with the 12:20 at Wincanton on Boxing Day. Likely squeeze for Harry Fry. Huh?
Huntingdon.
Yeah, I gave Callum the tip earlier and said he's from Huntingdon.
I was like, that's a great start. His certainty at the festival, he doesn't even know where he's running.
Yeah, he's from Huntingdon or Wincanton.
It's right-handed.
Yeah, he
can't be Huntingdon.
Well, you wouldn't lose any money if it was Huntingdon.
No, true.
He did get beat at Huntingdon last time around when going on the worst part of the track and trying to go from the front. He came from behind, the only horse to make up any kind of ground at Warwick the time before, got beat by McNamara, who then won a big race at Sandown. I think it's worth focusing on that form rather than Huntingdon last time around. I am excited to see what Callum Liddell comes out with.
Well,
that smile does not help.
I was a little worried because obviously the feature meeting of the Christmas period, Jemal Ali, is off on the 27th. But thankfully, Paddy Power have priced the Sheikh Ahmed bin Rashid Al Maktoum Cup at Sharjah on Saturday. And there is absolute certainty here at 25 to 1 called Middle L.
It's dyslexic Callum Liddell!
Now, you can join me.
That's dyslexic Callum Liddell.
Why?
Middle L?
Middle L.
Do I have to explain this joke?
Oh,
Also, I've got
I pronounced it right, but that is in all seriousness, you can join me. You can have an account closed or whatever, but 25 to 1 is an outrageous price.
I expected it.
Yeah.
Not the horse, but some sort of nonsense like that.
I've got a naughty lucky nap. That helps.
Ooh.
This is disappointing, actually.
Yeah.
This is usually the one thing Michael puts effort in. Like, I've got a horse and I've napped it called Lightly Squeeze, and he can't come up with more than one horse.
That was it. That was what triggered me. I went, oh my God, I haven't done my naughty lucky 15. I've just glanced through and I haven't found enough to fill one, but I've got a really good one. And it's got a real good chance as well. It's running in the 2:15 at Market Raisin, and it's basically leading up, and it's what Luke is looking forward to so much over the Christmas period. Very first time. He can't wait to run, and he's hoping he doesn't finish too soon.
I can't help but be disappointed by you.
Yeah, well, that's what they're going to say as well.
Have you seen the name of the dam as well?
Oh God!
Very first time by
Yeah.
Champs-Elysees.
Oh, very good.
Like a virgin.
Nah, they thought about it. Fair play.
Take your
Very good. Very good.
Take your apron. It might be bigger.
It would be, to be fair. Like that is a monstrosity. Gentlemen, it was a lot of fun seeing you guys again. We'll see you next year.
I'm glad we were able to find a way to do it after the disaster that Google Hangouts, rest in peace, is no longer there.
R.I.P. Hats off to Michael.
R.I.P.
More credit.
Gentlemen, have a very good Christmas. Whatever you guys are doing, enjoy the action on Boxing Day.
Yeah.
And thank you everyone for watching. Happy Christmas from everyone here at On the Other Hoof. Best of luck, whatever you do back on Boxing Day over the Christmas period. Stay safe. And from us, bye.